So we are live. Good afternoon, or should I say, greetings from Ontario, Canada, because it could be morning or evening in some other parts of the world where you may be. It's a great pleasure to have you guys join us today. And for those of you that will be joining us later, I would like for you, please, to let us know where you may be watching us from, whether you're watching live or you're watching replay. And today, I have somebody very special that I'm bringing on board today. And it's just to dissect this question that goes around people's minds. Sometimes people think that I can get so busy and I won't be able to do other things. Like some people are busy doing two jobs, while some people are busy in their career and busy with motherhood and so on and so forth. And they think that to add a side business such as the one that we do here, that it may be a bit difficult. So today I bring Neda, and she's just going to let you know what is possible and what's not possible. My name is Femi, and I work in the oil and gas industry for over 25 years as a directional driller. And today, this is all that I run. And without further ado, I'm just going to give the floor to Neda to
Thank
introduce
you.
herself, and then we'll kick the ball rolling.
Thank you so much, Femi. I'm so happy that we both come from the same company, Schlumberger. And I was in wireline, and you were in oil. You were in directional drilling.
Drilling and
That's
measurement.
very hard. That's very
Yeah.
hard. That company forever changed my life because it's kind of like an army-based company. It's kind of like it's not an army, but it's kind of like the training is so strict. So
Yeah.
you get to like act. You can like you have to be very,
Mm-mm.
very efficient. And I'm so happy I had that experience. I'm so blessed and grateful to God for that experience. I'm not working in oil and gas anymore. I'm working in construction industry. I'm a professional engineer. I do work still full time, and I do have two kids. And I live in Toronto, Canada, and I'm one of the coaches in this amazing community. Started my business 5.5 years ago, and have been so blessed to found this opportunity.
All right. So my first question to you would be, what exactly led you to starting an online business?
Well, you know what? I didn't want to have any businesses. I grew up from childhood like, with the mentality that businesses are like very risky. So I was under the mentality like many people that I have to go to university, I have to study, I have to work hard, and don't think about the business. So when I was looking for something, it wasn't really a business. I was looking for something, a work online that I can do at night when my kids go to bed. At that time my kids were 4 years old, and I was thinking, after 9:30 when I put them to bed finally, I can maybe just do something online that just can give me a couple of $1,000s every month. This is pre-COVID time. This is pre-inflation time and everything. And then I came across this opportunity. I saw my mentor's ad. It was just a text, like a picture ad with a couple of texts. It got my attention, and I had no idea I have to spend money on it because I didn't have any money to invest, and I wasn't planning to look into a business. Business and job, the difference is that for job, you just go and without having any investment, you can start it right away. With business, you need to invest in advance. I had zero money, but I came. Getting the information is free. Getting access to the webinar is free. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to check this out. I checked it out, and I'm like, you know what? Okay, the next step, if you want to get more information, you need to get in the 30-day trial and pay that $149. And I said, you know what? I don't think this lady who's my mentor is a scam. I don't get that impression that it might be a fraud or something. But worst case scenario, if my $149 is going to be gone, I'm just going to call my credit card and say, you know what, I was scammed, just give me back. And it's not a lot of money. These days you go to have lunch with your friend, you pay that much. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to check it out. And I got in, and the moment I got added to the Facebook community group, at that time it was only 17,000 people. Now there's like 250,000 people. Those
Wow.
days,
In the
17,000
space of
people.
5 years, right?
Yes. And I saw the income people are having. I saw their stories. I read every single post. Older people, younger people, people from different nationalities, people from different countries. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is heaven. Why I didn't know about this before? Why I was so stressed out? And I was really lost hope. I do believe in God. I always had believed in God, but I kind of like really lost hope. And I came to the community and I'm like, oh my gosh, there is hope. So I need to come up with an initial investment. And of course, I told my friends, they all laughed at me. They all said I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind.
Mm.
What are you going to do? What, are you serious? I'm so glad I didn't listen to them. I'm so grateful that I didn't listen to them, because 99% of them joined later on. And I set up my business, and I started my business, and because I knew that jobs are not reliable. You have a job today, tomorrow they just come to your desk and they just like lay you off, just like that. They don't care. You're just a number.
Mm.
Nobody cares about you, and you can't rely on the government. How much EI in unemployment you want to collect? It's nothing. It doesn't pay nothing, right? And you can't rely on anybody. You can't rely on your family. You can't rely on your spouse. You can't rely on your children. The only person you can rely on is you. So I need to do something. There's no miracle. I'm the miracle. I need to do something.
Mm.
I talked to my husband and he was very supportive, thank God. Even though I put up all the money I had from my credit card, of course, for the initial investment. But now that we are making a lot of money, like I would say, like not only this business surpassed my engineering salary, but we're making a lot of money. The whole family, the entire family is leveraging that. But those days, I said, you know what, if this is a risk, I'm going to just basically just take a risk myself. There's no risk in this business. Let me tell you this, guys. There is absolutely no risk. You get 10 times more than what you get 10 times more than what you give. Whatever you invest, whatever you put in, you get 10 times that. Not if it's 100 times more, but I just say 10 times. So there is no risk. The amount of knowledge and everything is valuable. So, and I the reason we all need to look for, in answer to your question, to have something in the background, is that no job is forever, no job is guaranteed. Even our health is not guaranteed. You're a healthy person now. Tomorrow, heaven forbid, you break your hand or something, and then guess what, they put you on a disability, and then they cut down 60-70% of your salary, and you're left with nothing. So don't take anything for granted. Don't take your health for granted. Don't take your job for granted. You need to have a second source of income, and this is a legitimate source of income. It's taxable, it's registered, it's everything on the book, on the paper. You pay lots of taxes on it, and definitely something that can work for everyone.
Thank you so much. I mean, I couldn't just help but think or imagine, as you were talking, like it wasn't what you decided to do. It wasn't what you wanted to do initially. I mean, like you were not thinking about business because we have been schooled. Our minds have been polluted. Just go to school, get the best degree, and get the best job.
Yes.
And that was what a lot of us go to do. But then those jobs are not secure.
Yes.
People, the best of us get laid off just like that. It's all about the bottom line, right? And
Yes.
for those of us that work in the oil and gas industry, we know how easily people get fired.
Yes.
Just about anything. They could they could call you back in 6 months, but people just get fired like that.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
So
nowadays, especially with tariffs,
yeah,
how many people are losing their jobs? We
yeah.
can't sit down and just wait for the government and politics to make a decision for us. I was working in a mining project, Femi, after my oil and gas, many years of my oil and gas. And then the project was like booming. They were hiring people day. And then when they hired me, they needed hundreds more people. So we were like growing like big. And then all of a sudden it was a potash mine. All of a sudden there was an agreement between Russia and I think Saudi Arabia, and then the whole project was canceled. They laid
Wow.
off everybody that came, and they were working so hard, boom, gone. And I remember I was part of the process of seeing my manager, how he was deciding on who to go tomorrow. They were just getting a pen, and then your name would on it, and they would just like cross off your name, just like that. You're just a number. They don't care. They don't care about your family. They don't care about your mortgage. They don't care about your future. They don't care about your children. They can't. They have to save the company. So they just let go of you so they can save the company. They have a bigger mission. So this is why you can't wait for politics and organizations and things and this and that to make decisions for you. This is why you need to have. It's very necessary to have a second source of income.
Yeah, because policy changes, system changes, just like the tariff, like you said, and it's so unfortunate, as individuals as well, we evolve. You know, people grow, people get married, people have children. You can imagine just getting married or just having a child, and then you lose your job. You know, people just buy houses. I know people within our community that said that they just bought their house, and then maybe they were living in one house before where they were paying $1,400 as a mortgage, and then they just bought this new house. They're going to pay $2,500, and poof, you know, job was gone. And then you start wondering, you know, this is how people get homeless. God
Yes.
forbid.
Yes.
I mean, God forbid. But it's very important that people have to make sure that they have something else that they're doing other than their regular job. I mean, a lot of people often say, you know, it's not the time, it's not the right time. But you know, there's never a right time. You know,
Yes.
you have to create that right time. You know, because the opportunities come. God
Yes.
never said that. You know, when the opportunities come, that everything will be lined up. You
Yes.
know,
Absolutely.
it
Yes.
will show you, it will show you there's something, and then you'll have to put the puzzles together, you know,
Yes.
and build I'm building direction that you have to go. Thank you
Yes.
so much. I mean, that's very, very informative. So well, I haven't said that. I probably will just keep one question, and I'm going to ask you. So, like being a mother, you know, and being, I mean, like being an engineer, you know, working corporate jobs, and I haven't worked in the same company that you worked before. I know how demanding these jobs could be, you know, and then of course you are a wife as well, and then you are running your business. How is that possible? How are you able, you know, to manage your time? You know, because some people will just think that, okay, if she's doing very well, then why doesn't she just leave the job? She's making so much money, you know. But I know that there's nothing wrong with having, you know, the best of the two worlds, right?
Yes, yes, yeah, absolutely. So first is that most people are not motivated enough. They just think they're motivated, but they get
Mm,
distracted so easily by social media, by their friends, by the TV, that they just forget about they keep, sight of what they were planning to do in the first place. Look at
yes.
how addictive our phones are, how addictive Instagram is, for example, right? And people are not motivated enough. It's so easy to not to do something than to do something, right? It's so easy
Mm,
to quit than to stay, right? To stick around,
yeah.
right? So I was motivated. The only thing I can say is that I had drives. I really wanted this business to work for me. And what do you do when you're hungry? When you really are hungry, you go
You
and
look
look
for
for
food.
food. What do you do when you are kind of like half full? You just kind of look for it and you're like, you know what, forget about
Mm,
it. I'm not that motivated. So you need to really have that motivation. That's the motivation that comes from you. That's what we refer to as your why, right? What was
mm,
your why? Why did you want to do this business? I really needed so badly to make extra $2,000 a month. In my wildest dreams, I ever thought that I would be making $20,000 a month. I never thought that it would be possible. I never thought I could be surpassing my engineering salary. But with the online business, with our online business, it is possible because you have so much support and you have so much training. You have such an amazing setup the infrastructure that is set up for you that it is possible. So I really needed that to make that extra $2,000 a month. So that means that I have to go to bed later. That means I have to wake up earlier. That means I have to plan ahead of time. That I need to learn how to manage my time. I need to make sure I use my husband to work
mhm.
to his latest maximum capacity and everybody so that I can make this business work. And then of course the first few months is harder because you are setting up, you are learning, everything is new. And then after a couple of months it gets easier and easier and you don't need to put so much effort into it.
That's, that's fantastic. You know, I mean, like, I know that for any business, right, the beginning is usually the most difficult, particularly the one where you have no experience, where you had no prior experience. But
Yes,
thank goodness that we have very, very good training here. And
yes,
of course, you know, it could be at your pace. You know, it's not as if you miss something, that's the end, because it's video recorded, right? And it could be step by step, like you said. And most of the other things that one needs to do has been mapped out. So it becomes very easy as long as one is focused. And I think there's something you said about being hungry, you look for food. You know, if you have no food at all, your drive for food is higher than if you are than if you are half hungry, your drive may not be that much. But even at that, as human beings, right, we differ one person to the other depending on what you really want in life. There's some people that are very comfortable, but they just know that, okay, even though I'm hungry, but I can't afford to fail. This has to work. And then we look for, I'm like, that was why I asked you the question in the beginning, what drove you to this? For some people, it was the money. For some other people, it was the freedom. I'm like, you worked in the oil and gas industry for some years and then you stopped, but like I worked for over 25 years, and I met my wife while I was working in the oil industry. And then I didn't have a schedule. Whenever I was called, I'd been at the Christmas party before with my family, company's Christmas party. That was when I stopped going for company's Christmas parties. And then my FSM just saw me and he said, "Oh, I mean, we have a problem on this rig. You have to go there tomorrow." and,
Yeah,
I was
I
like-
know, I know, I
and I
know.
felt, oh, I shouldn't have been here. I
Yeah,
shouldn't
I
have
know.
been here. So my wife couldn't plan with me.
Yes.
you know I mean, my kids, I missed out on a lot of milestones. I was making money for them to be able to have good life, they could go on vacation and all that, but most of the time was without me. But in the 2020 2021, when we had that episode, that was when it dawned on me that, okay, at this point in time I have to stop. Because I was coming from my basement upstairs one day about 1 a.m. It was just my wife and I in the house, and everywhere was quiet. And I just felt, man, I mean, were you married? Because because there was never a time I was home for like 2 months at a stretch. And I really felt for this woman. I felt, no, something's got to give. I mean, like, thank God for women. You people are patient, you are understanding. But then, and then, okay, that we have to make money and make things available. But then there must be a balance, which is very difficult, right? If you must live in a country like Canada and
Yes,
in the Western
exactly.
world, it's very
Yes,
difficult because you're just working to pay CRA, working to pay bills and all that, you
yes.
know.
That's
So,
that's true.
so
That's true. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. You said it right.
yeah. So, I mean, there was a point in time when we just came in here. I thought I had all my I's dotted and my T's crossed, and I thought, okay, we'll just live our lives the way we're living back in Nigeria and all that. And then I found out that, wow, I needed to stay more on the rig and mark more X in order for me to be able to, I mean, to break even very well. So, like, I now had to stay longer on the rig. And like I tell a lot of people, I was paid pay as you go. I mean,
Yes.
money was more in the field, than just stay in the office. I had the opportunity to be a manager, but I turned it down because it was not as much money as working in the field. It
I
happened to a lot
know.
of us, right?
Yes.
So, but like throwing all our eggs in one basket, I made that mistake, but I thank God that I found this business. Like a lot of people made that mistake, but there are people that have opportunities now because there's some people that are doing 2 3 jobs, and that the 2 3 jobs is able to give them enough funds for them to pay mortgages, to go on vacation and all that. But what people don't realize is that you do these 2 to 3 jobs for some time, you get so used to it, and then as you get older it becomes difficult to come out of it. But you can't keep on living your life like that. So at some point in time, something's got to give, and that's
That's
why
true.
it's very important to have something on the side.
That's true. That's absolutely
Well,
true.
yeah, so go ahead, you may say something.
You're absolutely right. You said it very emotionally.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but
honestly,
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
yeah. So I mean, like I used to tell people that my wife was like, she was the mom, she was the dad. She took all the decisions, and the worst part of it was that, you spent more when you're in the field than when you're in town. There are opportunities that you see in town that you don't need to put all the money down, but when you're in the field, you're thinking about how to put all the money down. So you end up you end up spending more. It's so unfortunate, but that's the way the world works. So people that have understanding will find a way to make a change.
That's true.
I know you're a busy woman, so I'm not going to take most of your time.
No
And
problem. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope
yeah,
that people who are watching this or watching the replay of this get that knowledge and information that we were trying to pass to them, and
Yeah.
hopefully make the right decisions and move forward. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for inviting me,
But,
Femi.
but but before I let you go, I would just want you to look into your camera and speak to somebody out there. You know, just say something to somebody that may be watching or watching replay. You know,
Yes,
and
absolutely. So what I want to say is that when those days that I lost hope, that I thought that, I have no option and I'm stuck, I was completely wrong. And I prayed, and I really prayed to God, and I'm a believer. And God put this opportunity in front of me, and I asked God for just drops of water, and He gave me the ocean. So this business is
wow,
really like an ocean. The more you swim, the more you see gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And as I said, I just came for $2,000 a month extra every single month, and I'm making at least 10 times that every single month. So definitely give yourself this chance. You can do this. You don't need to come from a special educational background. You don't need to come from any special age background. You can be, anybody from any country that is allowed for these opportunities. Most countries, they can join this business because it's a global team. And definitely give yourself this chance and get started.
so it's as far as your eyes can see.
Yes. Yes.
You know, I mean, like when Abraham was asking his it's not his wife. What's
Yes.
her name now? The lady that gave back to his first child. Uh, he sent her off with a bottle of water.
Yeah.
But when she found mercy with God, she found a well of water.
That's
You know,
great.
so I mean, we can be looking for something small. Most people came into this business looking for something small, just something extra to be able to live the life the way they expect to live their lives. And my own mind, a lot of people's minds are blown. And that's what this business can do for you.
Yes.
So,
That's true.
guys,
Absolutely.
you heard it all from Neda. First of all, I mean, like you have to understand that you can't be limited because you have a job that is busy. And Neda has told us the way she has been able to achieve hers, like less time wasting and focusing on what matters. And most people get carried away by their comfort zone. You need to step out of it. And that's one of the things that you need to do. And you can't be waiting for the perfect time because it does not exist. You
Yes.
have to create that perfect time yourself.
Yes.
And at this point, I'd like to say a big thank you to Neda
No
for
problem.
making this possible, and a big thank you to everyone that may be watching or will be watching later. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Femi. Have a beautiful
Thank you.
day. Thank